Hi guys, this is Christy Fulk with Create with Christy. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the U.S. Well, today I'm here to teach you a new fun fold. It's actually two fun folds put together. I'm not sure who did this first. I've seen a lot of other demonstrators do it. It's called the Bookbinding Z-Fold card. So I've done both of these, but I have never done them together. So this is the Bookbinding Z-Fold card. It's really easy to do, and I think you're going to like it a lot. And I also decided to use the Thoughtful Journey suite, all the products in there. And I've made a bunch of cards with this suite already because this is the suite I'm featuring in my monthly online card club. It's actually featuring a Thoughtful Wishes bundle, but I'm also using everything that's in the suite. And I thought I'd make a card with that because I thought this paper would be gorgeous with this. So if you want to know more about my monthly online card club, I do have a link down below in the video description. You can click on that and find out all the information. You can also subscribe while you're there. If you want to watch a video I've also made, because I always make the first card of my card club in a public video, and I posted that last week, so I'll have a link popped about that up in the top right corner. I'll also put a link down in the video description. That way you can watch that video and you'll actually get to see everything that you get this month in Card Club. But you have to hurry. You've only got till this Wednesday, May 15th to subscribe. So make sure if you want to subscribe, you click that monthly online card club link and subscribe there. Okay, so this is the fold. It's a lot of fun. I hope you're going to like it. So go ahead and look down the video description again and find my blog post link. Click on that and you will get the supply list and also the dimensions of the cardstock and paper that you need to make this card. You can get all that stuff together and come back and make it with me. Okay, let's get started. Okay, like I said, I am featuring the Thoughtful Wishes bundle, and the stamps you're going to need if you're going to make this card along with me, you're going to need this one right here, and you're also going to need Dearest Friend. Those are the only stamps you need. You're going to need this die here. Turn it around so you see it better. You're also going to need this one, and you're going to need this one. Okay, once you get your paper trimmer out or your Simply Scored scoring tool, whichever one you want to use. Right now I'm going to do some scoring. I'm going to do some cutting here in a minute. But right now, if you've got our Stampin' or paper trimmer, you want to take the dark blade and get it out of the way because that's the cutting blade because you don't want to accidentally do any cutting because we're going to score right now. So this is a piece of boho blue paper, cardstock. It is 11 by 4 1/4. And with an 11-inch side along the top, you want to score this at 2 1/8. So I'm going to line this up at 2 1/8. And I always go over it a few times using a little pressure to get that score line really good. Now I want to go to 4 1/4. So go to 4 1/4. Score. Last one is going to be at 5 1/2. Okay. So now we'll go ahead and put this to the side. I want you to grab a piece of the Thoughtful Journey DSP. This is the one I picked out. This is a full 6 by 6 inch piece, but I want to show you how I cut it. Now I want it to be 4 inches this way. So I really like how the trees are right here at the top. There's really nothing I want to cut off on the top. So I'm going to have to cut off 2 inches off the bottom because I only need it to be 4 inches this direction. So I'm going to cut it here. And this can be used for something else. You can use this side, either one. But today we're just going to need this piece. The reason you do it all in one piece is because now we're going to cut it up for the card to get that panoramic kind of look to it. On this side here, I want to cut off 1 inch strip. So I'll just line that up with 1 inch, cut, and that one's ready to go. And this middle one needs to be a 3 by 4. So I'm going to get that at 3 inches. And that should leave a 2 inch strip, and it did. So that is what you want that paper to look like. So go ahead and put that to the side, and let's get the paper trimmer out of the way. Okay, now I want you to get that card base back out again. And you can see all the score lines here. I'm going to actually turn it around. This middle one just folds this in half. So we'll go ahead and do that. Make sure those corners are still lined up, because sometimes even with the score line, it might fold a little bit crooked. We don't want that. So I've got that there. This first one here on the left, now that it's folded in half, goes back. And you want to use a bone folder to get that crease nice and folded. Then this last one here is going to go the same direction. It's going to go back. Okay. So that's actually the base of the Z fold. Now, I do want to go ahead and get the bookbinding part done. I'm going to fold that a little bit better. This section right here is the bookbinding. So I'm going to open this up completely. I'm going to bring in my seal. And this section right here, between the middle fold and that first score line, I'm going to go on the inside all the way down next to that score line, both score lines. So I've got both of those strips right on the inside parts of these score lines here. Then I can close this, go ahead and push that down. Now I've got my bookbinding. You can see how that's how you get the bookbinding part, okay? Now I want to bring in this paper again. I know that's going to be the middle. This is the way it was cut. Let me get that down a little bit until it's getting out of the screen. I'm going to take this 1-inch section, go ahead and get this going. And this is going to go right here on the top of the bookbinding part. So you just put that right there in the center. Okay. And then I need to grab another piece of cardstock. This is another piece of boho blue. It is 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. And that is what this piece is going to be put on, the one that's 4 by 3 from the middle of that cardstock. Go ahead and put adhesive on here. And this will just go right in the middle like so. Okay. Now I'm going to put this to the side because I'm not quite ready to put that on. I'm going to grab a piece of basic white. This is a 4 by 4 piece. And this is that 2 by 4 inch piece of the DSP that we did a minute ago. Last one we need to attach. And I'm going to attach it on the right side here. This is the 4 by 4, so it doesn't matter really what side right now. Just make sure it is right along the edge. Okay. And now we'll turn this over and put adhesive on it. And you want to make sure that that DSP is on the right side. And you're going to put it on the inside of this card. Just center it like so. So this can be the place you can write a little greeting inside, write your name and stuff. I know there's not a lot of room. If you want more, you could do something on the back. You could even write a little something here. If you want to put another white piece there, you could also do that because that's still on the inside of the card. So definitely, if that's not enough room, just put another, I think this would be a, yep, you want it to be a 2 by 4 inch piece right there too if you want to add a little more. So I've got that ready to go. Then I'm going to take this piece. It's going to go right on here. Now you can put it wherever you want. If you want to show more of this tree and do it that way, you can do that. What I decided to do, I decided to line this left edge of the boho blue right along the edge of this DSP here. But where I'm going to put the adhesive, I'm just going to put it in this blue section right here. So go right along that score line, that fold. I'm going to do it here on the edge, the opposite edge right there. Then I'm going to take the edge of this, line it up with that DSP. I'm actually even kind of just butting it right up against it, making sure it's right here on the top edge and the bottom edge. Bring this down. That looks pretty good. So now I'm going to push it down. I always wait to push it down completely because if I want to lift it up again, that's why I don't push it down. I make sure I've got it where I want it. And then when it's ready, then I go ahead and rub it down. So now we've got, actually, the fun fold is done. Isn't that cool? I love that. And it just works out so perfect with this paper. Now we're going to do some stamping. I'm going to grab a piece. This is a piece of basic white. This is 3 by 4 1/4. And I'm going to do a little technique with this too. It's watercolor resist using embossing. I'm going to grab my embossing buddy. And I'm going to rub on this a little bit to take all the moisture off. You can pounce on it too. I do both. I mainly probably just go across it. That way it dries it up pretty good. Now I'm going to take my Versamark pad, ink up these leaves, and I'll just stamp this near the center. We're going to be die cutting it, so there's no worries if it's not right in the center. But you do want to have it close. That way you know you're not going to cut off anything when you die cut. Now I know you can't really see it right now. At least I don't think you can, but you will here in just a minute. I'm going to use my white emboss powder. This is, we have new embossing powder right now. It's not available right this minute. It's supposed to be in the first week of June. So if you don't have embossing powder, you only have to wait a couple more weeks and you'll be able to buy some. It's from the, what's the name of it? I have to look at my, Basics Wow embossing powder is what it's going to be called when they have it in. But this is the same. This is the white embossing powder. It's in that pack. And you just sprinkle it on top of the stamped image you just did. And that Versamark ink stays wet. So now you can see the image. Hopefully you can see that. I'm not sure, but you will hear when I start to heat it up. I want to make sure I get that embossing powder out of the way because I don't want to melt it in the packaging. Okay, now I'm grabbing my tweezers. This is also part of the Embossing Editions toolkit. That's where that embossing buddy came from too. Now I'm going to take my heat tool. It's going to take a few seconds for it to heat up. I'm going to keep it, look here towards the top of the stamped image, and it's going to start getting shiny here in a minute. Hopefully you're going to be able to see that. But once it starts getting shiny, I know that it's melted just right. You don't want it to go too long because then it starts soaking into the cardstock. Now all of a sudden it's heated up. Once it heats up, it goes super fast. Hopefully you can see that. I think I'll stop here just a minute. I'm going to try to get the whole right side done here. And then I'll bring it a little closer so you can see the difference. I'm going to stop for just a second. This section here is all melted, and you can tell right here that it's looks a little different, a little darker. That is not melted yet, but up here it is melted. So let me go ahead and finish this up. Okay, there we go. It's all shiny. If you can't see it, it's okay because you're going to see it here in just a minute for sure. I'm going to grab my silicone craft sheet. This is something that's available in the online store. It's also, I don't know if it's pictured in the catalog or not, but you can definitely just search it. It says silicone craft sheet, and you'll be able to find it in the online store. I'm going to take a couple drops of my Mossy Meadow ink. I'm going to grab a water painter. There are 3 different tips in the water painter, but I'm going to be using the one that has the smaller tip. I'm going to squeeze a little water out, like so. Okay. And then I'm going to stir that around. And then, move this up a little bit. I think that's still on the screen. Take this, and I'm going to go over the embossing, and I'm intentionally going outside the lines. Let me bring in, if you look at this right here, you can see how the green is outside those white lines. So I'm kind of going for that look for this. I'm going to pick up a little more ink. And with all that water, it helps it also spread a little easier. So you're going to do all of this until you have covered this whole image. Okay, now I'm starting to look over this. I can tell a couple of these leaves I need to go past it a little bit. But isn't it cool how you can see that white so much better? The white embossing, oh, like I didn't get the tip of that one, so I'm glad I started to add more to that. Now, if you want to get some shading, you kind of tell parts are darker than others, which is fine. You don't have to really mess with it too much. If you want to add a little more dark in a couple places, like at the base of some of the leaves, you can definitely do that. I'm just picking up some more of the ink. There we go. I kind of like having some different shadings, even though it may not be in certain, like here, it's kind of up here. It just gives it a really neat look. It doesn't have to be perfect like when we color with our blends and we try to get the shading just right. This one, there's really no rhyme or reason the way I'm doing it. Oh, I can tell I missed this leaf down here. So I'm going to fill that section in a little bit better. And I didn't get over on this side very well. I just found it the first time I made this. It's better to go out a little farther than you think you need to. But you can always fix it after you die cut it. If you're thinking, oh, I don't want some of those white spots, you can go over it again. But I just think it's a little easier to do most of it before it's die cut. So that is ready to go. I'm going to grab a paper towel. I'm going to squeeze some water out and get that Mossy Meadow out of here. So it's all ready for my next project. There we go. Just a little bit of green. There, well, that looks pretty good. I'm all done with this. So this, all I need to do is rinse it off in the water and under my tap in my sink, and it comes off really easy. Now with this, I don't know if you noticed, the white has kind of dulled a little bit. I'm going to take this paper towel, and this is the resist part. The embossing resist the ink. And now the white has brightened up a little bit now that I've wiped that off. Okay, there's one more thing to stamp. I want you to grab, if you're doing this with me, this is that 3.5 by 1/2 inch piece of the basic white cardstock. I'm grabbing the Dearest Friend stamp and the Petunia Pop ink pad. This is one of the new in colors that came out. And I'm going to stamp this more towards the left. I don't want it all the way over because I'm going to be cutting that end off a little bit. But I definitely want it more to the left. Looks about right. Hold that down for a few seconds. That looks good to me. It's a little up higher than the center, but that's going to be just fine. I'm not going to worry about it. So that is ready to go. Well, I've got it here. I might as well cut this end off. So I'm going to do this at an angle. There we go. So that's what you want it to look like. And now we need to get the die cutting machine out. Okay, first off, I'm going to grab this that we just got done doing. I'm going to grab the die that will die cut that out. And just make sure that that embossed part is filling in the empty spaces or the open spaces of the die. So those embossed lines are going to be right along the edge of the opening. Just like that. Let me see if I can get... I'm at an angle, so I want to kind of move it around so I can make sure I got it. I think that's pretty good. So I'm going to take a piece of Post-it tape and another one down here. You can also use Post-it notes. Just use the adhesive part of the Post-it note, and that'll hold it on just as well. But this Post-it tape is something I found on Amazon, and it works great. Now I've got a piece of wild wheat. This is a 1 3/4 by 3 1/4. I'm going to move that one up a little bit. And you want to get this die here for it. And then a piece of Petunia Pie, or Petunia Pop. Got the colors mixed up. 1 3/4 by 3 3/4. And that one is going to go right here. So I'm not going to worry about tape on these two here. This one I use tape because I don't want it to move at all because I want it to stay right around that image. This I just want to make sure I look at it and make sure it's still on the cardstock. I'm going to grab my another cutting plate here. I do believe I forgot to tell you the sandwich. It's the big, thick base platform, then the thin die plate, a standard cutting plate, then you've got all your dies and paper, then another standard cutting plate on top. Now we're going to run this through. And these are all die cut. That's all the die cutting we need to do. So take this off. You want to be careful when you start taking this out because it is a little delicate, but it is die cut really, really well. We've got that one. Then we have this one here. This one's even more delicate. And that one stayed in the die. Oh, I see a piece that's still sticking out, so maybe I can get that. Yep, it's coming off just fine. If you get it to where it's all in there and you can't get it to come off, these little holes that you see, use your the paper piercer of your take your pick tool and just poke a couple of them and that'll get it to start coming out for you. So we've got that one there. Then, last but not least, we've got this one here. Get the little pieces out. There are a few negatives here inside that come out. And then when I look at it, if I see some places I missed, like I see some white here. Oh yeah, some up here too. I'm going to go fix that here in just a minute. So go ahead and let's finish this card. Okay, I brought my silicone craft mat back out. I want to grab my water painter. I'm going to pick up a little bit. This is still really wet, so I'm not going to worry about adding water. If it is too thick, just put in a couple more drops in it. But where I'm seeing white spaces where I don't want it, I'm just going to go over it again. So it's real easy to fix. And I've still got a few pieces I haven't poked out. Let's get those out of here because it's going to look a lot better once that happens. Get those out of there. And then I'm also going to know then, once those are out, whether I still need to add some more. And there's some white there. So bring in a little bit more. And I think this is all I'm going to have to do are these little spaces here. So there we go. Now you can see, oh, I see another spot. Now you see why I was good going outside the lines. So doesn't that look cool? I love that. So now let's finish putting this card together. Okay, I brought the card base back in. I'm going to grab the greeting. I'm going to put some seal all the way across here. Got a little bit of adhesive there. I want to wipe that off because I don't want to stick it get it stuck on there and ruin the back of my card. That would be awful. So I'm going to put this down here. I'm going to put it down. I'm going to line this straight edge right here with the edge of the DSP, and that's Designer Series paper. But I wanted to, if I put it right here, it's going to cover up most of that wild wheat little plant right there. It's going to bring it down just a little bit so we can still see that. And of course the petunia pop colors too. There we go. So that is on there, and I didn't put it all the way to the end because a little bit of it is hanging over the edge, but not much. Just as long as you don't get it all the way to where your little slant is, you'll be good. Now I'm going to bring in this piece here. I'm going to bring in my silicone craft mat again too. Actually, silicone craft sheet. That's the full name of it. And I'm going to turn this over. I'm going to grab some multi-purpose glue. Make sure I don't get my little ink well here. Oops, I still missed a spot. Get that little piece out of there. There we go. I like all those little pieces getting out of there. It really makes the die cut look better. Now, I decided not to put any glue up here near the top. I kind of liked it curling up a little bit. And the other reason, this section here that comes out is going to be hanging over. So make sure you don't put any on this section right here. But I'm going to make it so I don't put any on those two sections. I'll just put a little bit here. Oops, that was a little bit of a glob. I can fix that, though. Actually, I think I already did. That was a big enough section I was able to stop squeezing my glue bottle and kind of smear it around with a tip. But I'll show you a little trick just in case you can't do that. Like if you're using something that's got really little sections and you can't smear the glue around, you just turn this over and take a little bit of it off. It'll go on your silicone craft mat. That'll dry. Peel it off. It'll be clear. That's when you know it's dry, and you just peel it off. Okay, I'm going to put this here. I'm kind of putting the stems down here about in the middle of the edge of this and my greeting. Like so. That looks pretty. I'm going to hold that down for a few seconds. Put some pressure on it. There we go. And I did get a little glue right there. I'm just going to wipe that off quick. There we go. I didn't realize I was going to have a leaf stick in there. So you may not want to put one on that leaf either. So just mainly here on the left side is where you want to put that glue. Oh, I don't know. I'm going to put that away because we've got more to put on here. I'm going to grab the wild wheat die cut we just did. This one too, I'm just going to mainly put it on some leaves, not those top ones. I kind of am leaving those just in case it does curl up a little bit. Then it's going to look like I've got dimensionals under it. When I really don't, because there's really not any good spot to put dimensionals on here. And I really don't want it to anyway, because I want to still be able to mail it. And with all this little extra folds there, I was afraid it might make it too thick. It's definitely not too thick to mail this way, but if I start putting dimensionals on it, I was a little worried it might be. So I'm going to turn this over. I'm going to put this branch here, the bottom stem, down here in the center, all the way to the bottom of the one we just put down. Kind of angle it a little bit so it kind of goes in this section between the leaves that go out this way and a straight one. Then hold that down for a few seconds. Press it down a few places where the leaves are, where you know you put your glue. Now that glue's soaked in, so that's going to stay on. There's the petunia pop one. This one I'm going to do pretty much the same. I'm not going to put any on the very top one, maybe a couple here. This one I was afraid might tear up a little too much. So I'm going to do it a few more sections than the others. Probably just about every single flower except that very top one. Then I'm going to put some down here at the bottom of the stem. Maybe a couple little sections here. Maybe even a little bit right here because I don't want that ripping off later. A little bit more in that flower. Didn't get enough. That looks good. I'm going to turn this over. I'm going to hold on to that top flower. I think that way I don't get glue on my fingers. This one too, I'm going to line that bottom stem up here. I'm going to put it really pretty much over that wild wheat one. Kind of angle it this way just a little bit because I still want to be able to see the green one that we embossed. Hold these down. Get that pressure on there so it's stuck on there really good. That looks good. Isn't this looking cool? I love this paper. The paper is what makes the card look so good. Okay, I'm going to put the glue away. I'm all done with that. Get this out of the way. This 15-inch piece of linen thread, I'm going to fold it in half, like so. And then I'm going to tie this in a bow. So I'm right-handed, so I always start on the left end of my thread, make my bow, and then I'm going to start bringing it down a little bit and playing around with it because I didn't want the bow part, the loops, to be that big. And keep tightening it up, shortening them until I get them right where I want them. Okay. Now I'm going to grab my glue dots. There's one there. And I'm going to put the knot of the bow right there in the middle of that glue dot. Now you're going to notice, because this knot is so small, the glue dot's still showing. So I'm taking my fingernail on my thumb and my index finger, squeezing that glue dot so it's nice and skinny. That way it's not sticking out anymore. And I'm going to put it above the strip for the greeting. Just above it. Right there in the center of our little branches. And then I kind of want these tails to go down. So I'm going to hold on to my glue dot where my knot's at. Or actually, just hold on to the knot. And then kind of pull this down, and that kind of brings the tails down a little bit. There we go. That's make it so we can still see our dearest friend. Now I'm going to grab my scissors. And now you could have, if this loop where you fold it in half drives you nuts, you can cut this off earlier. I always just wait till I've got it on my card, and then I trim it. And then that way, and now the loop is gone. There we go. Now, I want to use those pearls that are in the suite. This is called the Adhesive-Backed Pearl Trio. They're Calypso Coral, Misty Moonlight, and Petunia Pop. Those in my club are getting a full pack of these pearls. This time I decided to use the Misty Moonlight. The Petunia Pop would look good too. But I thought I didn't want to have too much color. I really like the blues in this. So I'm going to grab my Take Your Pick tool, use the putty side. I'm going to grab a Misty Moonlight and put it up here. You can put it wherever you want to. The rule of thumb when you use embellishments is to use an odd number. I usually use 3, sometimes 5. I'm going to put one down here. And then when you do that, you kind of make a little bit of a triangle. Grab this one. And I was going to put it closer. I don't really like that. I kind of like it out here a little bit more. So I'm going to put it right there. There we go. So that is the bookbinding Z-fold card. Now, if you like this and you've liked the bundle I used and all the products here, and you want to join my club, just make sure you look down the video description below, click on that monthly online card club link. You can go there and subscribe. You subscribe with PayPal. You can also find out more of me talking about it and showing you everything that comes in this kit by clicking on that, I think it's called Thoughtful Wishes Online Card Club First Card, I think is what it's called. You'll figure it out when you look down there. Just click on that link and you'll be able to watch the video that I will show you everything that comes in the club this month. And the club is $39.50 a month, and you get up at least $22 worth of product that you'll have left over. You're not going to use it all, but you'll find out more about that if you watch that other video. So I hope you enjoyed this card. And don't forget, you've only got till this Wednesday, May 15th to sign up. So not too many days left, about 1 or 2. So hope you guys all had a great Mother's Day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys. Don't forget to check out that next video.